about Butler season 1. How did you feel about the corset scene?
Oh, the corset scene. The corset scene, first of all, I didn't have to do any recording for the corset scene because Sebastian doesn't say anything. But when they showed me that, I was like, what the hell is that? Like, I was like, oh, no, I don't want this to be that kind of show. Please don't be this kind of show. I don't want this. I don't support that, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, no, it's funny. It's a joke. It's not actually. I'm like, thank God. So my first reaction was, what the hell have I signed up for? And why wasn't I told this was the kind of show it was? And then to being like, oh, thank God, it's just a joke. Whew, okay, whew. Oh, yeah, I hate the corset scene. I think it's funny. I hate the corset scene. Who's got the mic now? Oh, my God.
Yeah, I was gonna say doo-doo-doo.
Oh, the feels.
And have you ever apologized or felt bad for what happened to Mayuri?
Oh, God. Why do you say it like that? Ah. And I had so many emotional breakdowns while writing and recording that show, Steins Gate. Oh. True story. I think it's episode 13 or 14. It's in there. It's after the midway point where things get real. Where I had just been working on the show for so nonstop because I would write it at home at night and then go in to record an episode the next day for like 6-8 hours because Okabe very dialogue heavy. And then it's a very emotional show, and I wasn't working on much else at the time because I was totally focused on this because we were trying to get it out the door, and I was like, oh my God. So I was that character. I was Okabe for like 6 months. Just writing at home, and then recording it, and then coming home, and writing it, and then going in and recording it the next day. It was a repeat. And on weekends I would just sleep. And it's a very emotional show, and it's a very real show at several points. Like the character goes through some major emotional, hurricanes. And about episode, I think it's 13 or 14, forgive me if I can't remember the actual episode number, I don't think in episode numbers, I just think in terms of the entire story. But there's a scene where he's in the back seat of the car, remember, you know what I'm talking about, and he's crying and pleading for the life of his friend, at great peril to his own. And it's a wonderful scene because it's the first time we as an audience kind of see his more vulnerable side. Like Okabe is such a arrogant guy, and I mean, we all get that it's put on, that it's a coping mechanism he's using to kind of, because he feels like a nobody, and so he gets over it by being like, I'm somebody, and I'm a mad scientist, going to take over the world, blah, 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 and he's completely full of shit. And he is, and he knows it, and everyone kind of they keep him around because they think he's kind of funny to watch, wind down, and then things get very real, and suddenly he kind of, those coping mechanisms that he's used all his life to kind of deal with not feeling very important, he finally has to kind of strip that away, and he's like having this moment in the back seat of this car, a very dangerous moment where he is just crying, very like just ugly cry, not the beautiful like cinematic one tear down one cheek cry with the it's a really very real and hard, and the seiyuu in the Japanese nails it, and it's just, I was watching it to write the lines and watching the scene going, oh my God, snot out of my nose, and like drinking heavily. I'm like, this is the most emotional I've ever seen. Oh my God. And I'm like, I do not envy the poor bastard that has to breathe life into the, oh shit, it's me. And then a couple weeks later, that scene hit in the booth, and so I had to go do it. And because I was I was tired, and I've been writing the show, and because the show is about time travel and him having to revisit all these different scenes over and over and over again, I was kind of lost in my own head. I'm like, where are we? Who knows? Whatever. But this is what's going on. And so it became very real for me because the character Okabe learns to kind of just latch on to whatever's right in front of him because he doesn't necessarily know what timeline he's in or who remembers what. And so he's just always like what's ever in front of him. So he's so hypersensitive to what's going on. And he has that moment where for the first time as an audience, we see him really be vulnerable and really plead and really be desperately humble. And it still doesn't work. It doesn't work, and things go horribly wrong. And so like knowing that he can do nothing, he's still just trying to do something. And it's even talking about it, I get kind of chills. But I totally had a breakdown in the booth. Like I was sitting there recording it, and Colleen Klinkenbeard, the director, was like, oh, it's such a great scene. I love this. Let's do it. And I'm like, yeah. Oh shit, here we go. And we start recording that scene, and it's Bill, and everyone else was already recorded, so I had them to play off of, which is, also kind of hyper real. And then I suddenly just lost it. I just started blubbering, and it's like, but I'm still trying to struggle through the lines, because I'm like, no, goddammit, I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, doing this thing, because it's such a moment for him where he's basically saying, I'm nothing, I'm shit, just don't do this thing, please. And that's such a horrible leap for him to have to make that I just lost it, started crying, and I wound up like kind of just in the corner, just doing this and like sobbing, like trying to like disguise the fact that I was crying. And Colleen, who's a dear friend, was like, Michael, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, fine. You know, the crying you've done, and afterwards your body's like, for like an hour. That was the kind of crying it was. And so she's like, why don't you go outside and like splash some water on your face, walk around, maybe have a coffee or something. I'll come back and we'll revisit this. She's like, we need to go home. I'm like, no, we're gonna do this. And I go and I take a break and I come back. Shut up, Adam. So we come back and she's like, well, sweetie, we have two things. You can record it all again if you want, but everything you did sounded great and super realistic, and I know it's just you and like a lot of pain, but you nailed it. Can we just keep that? And I'm like, yes, I don't want to do it again. Let's just keep that. So if you ever, like, for those of you that haven't seen Steins Gate and you want to listen to me have an actual emotional and mental breakdown in the booth that made it into the final cut because they just thought, hey, that works, let's keep that. Episode 13 or 14 of Steins Gate. You'll know when you see it. It's like, oh my god. I showed it to my boyfriend at the time, who turned to me, excuse me if I drop the F-bomb, he turned to me after watching that scene and said, fuck you. Fuck you and everything you stand for, putting me through that. And I was like, so you liked it? So, thank you, Mayuri. Hi.
Hi. I was just wondering, I've noticed there's a lot of grills here today.
There's quite a few grills.
And I was just wondering, what would Sebastian's reaction be if he came here and saw this horde of grills?
I think we all know what Sebastian's reaction would be. Walk away. Because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, no, he's dismayed.
5. There's probably a fit somewhere. There's one on the floor somewhere. Somebody behind me, I'm sure. Who's got the microphone? There you are.
Are there any upcoming things you're voicing that we could be looking forward to?
Yeah, I can never talk about them. Attack on Titan season 2 is playing right now. Does everyone know that? Yeah. I feel like, I mean, I get to work on the show as the lead adaptive writer too, but you know, Erwin comes back, of course. So far, I feel like every line of his is like, Levi, go do shit. And that's it. I'm like, oh, whatever. You know, I like that. Every time I hear Matt's voice as Levi, I'm like, oh. So that's out. Black Butler, Book of Atlantic is... Jesus. People. We're supposed to be British. I expect that from Americans, but I was expecting you to be more subdued. Huh, lesson learned. So yeah, Book of Atlantic should be coming out soon. I know it's being released in America, I think in a couple of weekends. It may get a theatrical run, we'll see. That'll be weird, seeing Sebastian on the big screen. Like, oh, it's me. And there are other things that I can't talk about yet. That will be really awesome. More Confessionals is coming out. We're season 1 is I think 5 episodes long, and we're up to see season 3 will drop. Episode 3 of season 1 will drop tomorrow, and no 2 after that. And then we might, depending on the audience response, we might go into season 2. We'll see. Support us. Thank you, darling. Yes, you. Hi.
Going back to earlier, what is your favorite British accent? Like, because you've been to like different cons around the UK and stuff, what is your favorite accent?
I feel like I'm gonna piss someone off so badly. I don't know. I just love all of them, really. It's kind of like America in the sense that like you can't go 5 feet in Britain without running into a completely different accent. Right? I mean, I could just like walk out the door and meet someone who's like up the road who sounds completely different than someone that's like from 2 miles that way. And I love that. I love it because I think it's. I also just love the way the British use English. I mean, it's your language, so of course you've had it longer. But I mean, like you just use it and like you have all these wonderful turns of phrase and these little sayings and these little just expressions, and there's this music to the voice that I'm just like, oh, I love it. So I don't have a favorite. I really don't. I'd have to sit there and really think about it. Received pronunciation, which is what Sebastian speaks in, which is not a natural dialect. No one comes into the world speaking that. It's nonsense. It's sort of a neutral British that you learn prep school. it's like, oh no, that sounds, you're going to speak like this because you're going to sound like one of the royals, I imagine. You know, they sort of learn how to speak like this because it's sort of elevated and proper and whatever. We have a similar accent in the States. It's called news anchor neutral, which I have, incidentally. I'm from Texas, and my Texas accent does not show at all. It comes out when I'm drinking. When I become my father, I'm like, what the hell is this shit? And it's like, oh, sorry, that's where I'm from. I'm from McKinney, Texas, is where I grew up, so you know, it's not that hard to fall into that accent. But Texas is just like England. You can't walk 5 feet without hitting another accent. Because my father's got this sort of East Texas, like, hey, how's it going? What you doing? Hi. And my mother's got this different housewife Texan, like Houston accent, which is like, well, hello, it is really nice to see you. Thanks for coming in, y'all. It's weird. Like, I love it. So what was your question? I don't even know. But I love all the accents. Yes.
Was the which is your favourite regional accent from England? If you don't say the North, we will butcher you.
I guess it's the North.
The North remembers.
Northern.
Remember this.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
We have time for one more question, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Just really quickly, have you ever heard of a band called Ninja Sex Party?
I've heard of them. I've heard of them, yes.
Okay, and the second question was, have you ever secretly shipped any of your voice role characters together?
Maybe I have.
Can you tell us some of
I don't know. I mean, let me try to pretend like I haven't thought about this before. It's weird when it's characters I've voiced. Because I'm like, oh, y'all sound great together. It's like supremely egotistical to be like, oh, those two, I just want to hear what it would sound like. That's actually deeply disturbing to me. I don't want to hear myself being sexy. It's weird. I feel like I think Commander Irvin is incredibly sexy. It's something about it's those eyebrows. It's those eyes on point. Those eyebrows. So I mean, of course I ship he and Levi, but I didn't voice Levi. And you are just, I know, they're too close in age for you. What? That's a you problem, honey. I'm sorry. She hates Erwin. She hates Erwin. She hates a commander that knows what he's doing and keeps people alive. I know, such an asshole he is. I'm like, I hate Erwin. I hate his eyebrows and I hate his face, but I love you. I'm just picking on you. I would ship Erwin and Scar. That would be hot. I'm not gonna lie, that would be really hot. And weird to voice. Like, that's a scene I hope no one ever actually asked me to do. Because that's weird. No! No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I am not gonna do a sex scene for you people. You do not have the cash. I'll work on it, and I'll get back to you.
This is a casual reminder that this is PG-13. PG-13 audience, please keep your weird fantasies to yourself. Thank you.
And I find it hilarious when anyone ships anyone in Attack on Titan. Like, that's a show about death and destruction and being eaten alive. And people are like, oh, but they're sexy together. I'm like, you are watching the wrong show. That is not what it's about.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's been wonderful, Mr. Jay Tatum!
Thank you, I love you. I'm running off to my photo shoot now, so I'll see you all later. Thanks for letting me come to your con. It's been a wonderful time.
Guys, thank you very much for coming out today. Don't forget, we've still got lots of things going on here. We've got the Black Butler panel.